And joining me now is Democratic Governor from Minnesota, Tim Walz, chair of the Democratic Governors Association and a top surrogate for President Biden. Governor Walz, welcome back to Meet the Press.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for being here on this caucus eve and braving the chilly temperatures.
I came south to get warmer.
Yeah, right. You're used to chilly temperatures, right? Let's talk about some of the challenges that President Biden faces. One of the big issues is his age. You've been an outspoken defender on this issue. This week, the First Lady went so far as to say it's an asset, but voters aren't buying that. What does the campaign need to do to address this issue?
Well, first, there is something to be said about age and wisdom, and I think results matter. Look, I served in Congress for years and watched Infrastructure Week come and go. I watched Joe Biden deliver on a historic infrastructure act that's building roads and bridges across Minnesota, Iowa, and the rest of the country. And I think it's, as you start to see here, where the choice becomes the binary choice between Donald Trump and disdain for the rule of law and Joe Biden competency on getting things done, that overweighs that.
Well, but I guess the question is the campaign taking this issue seriously enough? Do they need to do more?
Oh, I think they are. They've got us out here talking about it, and I've spent a lot of time with the president, and he's great. We're talking, we're chatting and all this, and I think, you know, we all get a little older. That's what happens, but you also gain that insight, and I think when it comes to these issues, working across the aisle to get things done, you see the president just doing this with dignity, doing it with class, getting up every day, doing the work. So I think he's just doing what he does, and I think it's a kind of incumbent upon all of us. Look, my mom's 88, still living on the farm, drives herself. Folks are able to do this, so I think this little bit of ageism that goes to this, if it's not that, would be something else. They attack all of us on something. This is part of it.
Former Obama advisor David Axelrod is worried that Democrats aren't taking the warning signs seriously enough. He says dismissing Biden's challenges is deeply unhelpful and that the concerns are real. Do you think the campaign runs the risk of ignoring President Biden's vulnerabilities?
This is going to be a close election. Nobody's denying that. All modern presidential elections are close. We're focusing on the assets of things that get done. Each of us has some of these challenges, but no, they're taking it very seriously. We're getting out there. I think the way they take it seriously, they're continuing to put out incredible policies. For example, the school nutrition program that'll extend into the summer is incredible. And we see 15 governors, including this state, turn that down, and we've got hungry children. The Biden-Harris administration's still working those policies. So no, I hear David's concerns on this. Nobody thinks this is going to be easy. Nobody thinks this is going to be anything but close, but we're focusing on the things as we move towards November. It's still pretty early here.
I want to talk about one of the other big issues looming over the campaign, the issue of migrants. Muslim leaders in your state, one of several states, are calling to abandon Biden over his handling of what we are seeing in the Middle East. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker wrote this, quote, "Unfortunately, the welcome and aid Illinois has been providing to these asylum seekers has not been matched with support by the federal government. The federal government's lack of intervention and coordination at the border has created an untenable situation for Illinois." Has the president been focused enough on these issues, do you think?
Look, the immigration system is broken. I served in Congress for 12 years. I was there, remember the Gang of Six in 2018. The fact of the matter is, on day one of this presidency, Joe Biden put out a comprehensive plan on immigration reform. He's continued to ask for the resources necessary. Republicans don't want to fix this. Chaos is this. Ex-President Trump talks about he wants the economy to fail on this. This is just an issue they use at this time of the year, but there's no doubt the system is broken. We need to have comprehensive immigration reform. Look, these are asylum seekers, experiencing trauma in their own countries, and we need workers right here in Iowa and Minnesota, especially in protein processing, some of those things. We need to do that. Congress, especially the House Republican Chaos Caucus, is doing nothing about it.
Yeah, and I should clarify, I combine the Middle East and migrants because we are going to get to the Middle East in just one moment. But look, Governor Pritzker is saying that this is effectively an urgent situation. He is pleading for help and that it's not getting there quickly enough. Why hasn't there been
The executive
more
branch
action?
does not appropriate. Look, we know Congress could do this. We saw it in 18 when we got close. They didn't want to do it because they thought it would be an election issue. We hear the migrant caravan every time this type of year. These are not serious people. They're not seriously trying. So it doesn't, two things are true here. The system is broken and we need the help. Secondly is it's Congress's responsibility.
Do you think it's a crisis what's happening at the border?
Well, I think it could be fixed. I think crisis is, we certainly have these. I don't want people living outside Minnesota right now. I think there's the humanity piece of this, and then there's the right that every sovereign nation has the right to control its borders, as we should. More could be done, but they're doing nothing. Congress is doing nothing. The president is asking for more aid for Border Patrol, not getting it.
But do you think the border's secure?
I think the border, with the folks who do the work down there, are doing a great job. Could we do better? Absolutely. And again, if the executive branch had their way, it would have happened on day one. So I encourage folks, including the representatives here from Iowa, the senator, get something done. Yeah. Send the resources over. We in the executive branch, as a governor, whatever, we follow the laws that are written by the Congress, and there is a broken system.
I do want to ask you about the Middle East, because polling is showing that President Biden is losing voters due to his support of Israel's war against Hamas. And again, Muslim leaders in your state are calling for Democratic voters to, quote, abandon Biden. Overnight at the White House, we saw protesters gathering outside of the White House gates calling for a ceasefire. Do you think that President Biden needs to change strategies in the Middle East? Does he need to start calling for a ceasefire?
It's a horrific situation, and many of us have dealt with this issue, traveling to Israel, being in the West Bank and Gaza, as I was a member of Congress. But the president has to handle this as commander-in-chief. He doesn't get to set back and second-guess on this. He's making sure that certainly Israel's an ally, but he's showing incredible concern for the Palestinian people, being very clear that Hamas is not a good actor in this. The Palestinian Authority has to figure that out. As far as folks expressing their opinions, I understand their frustration. They have family members there. But the question I would ask is if abandoning President Biden means a Muslim ban. If you think, just be very clear, whether it's President Trump or any of these other folks, it's the same, different flavor of the same mega Kool-Aid, they're going to do nothing for this community. They're going to do nothing to try and work for a two-state solution. They're going to do nothing to provide humanitarian aid. Their battle cry is not one penny for anywhere else. Look, they're abandoning Ukraine. They're abandoning Ukraine. They will abandon them. So I hear the frustration, but the president has great and a lot of experience in foreign affairs. He's working the best he can to bring this thing to a conclusion.
So you don't think he needs to start calling for a ceasefire in order to win back some of this support?
He's calling for a reasonable end to this that has to be in a place where Israel can defend itself, as well as making sure we can protect Palestinian people, which Hamas has done nothing to do that.
All right, Governor Walz, thank you so much for being here.
Stay warm.
Appreciate it. You too.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.